More and more laws are being created every month, every year, every week that curb our rights and our freedom. These are the laws created by the governments and the people we put into positions of authority, our servants that are supposed to serve us, right? And these servants are making laws that constantly curtail and decrease our rights and our freedoms. It has turned our planet into a planet of brands, corporations, and where jobs are promised to people. Every time we hear a politician talk about, oh, we're going to create 1 million more jobs, all they're really saying is we're going to create 1 million more slaves, when this is supposed to be our planet. What this really points to is the fact that this thing called money has infiltrated every crack and crevice of our existence. Every aspect of our lives, from the first breath we take till the last breath we breathe out. It's a complete insanity how this has been distorted. This thing of believing that we are free needs to be addressed. And the people that still run around saying that I'm free, I can do what I want, live in a complete and utter illusion. So the historic resistance to money goes back thousands of years. It's not something new. This very popular character, Jesus or Jeshua or Issa, one of the famous incidents is when he apparently chased out the bankers or the money changers from the temple. One of the few moments or events of his life where he probably showed violence or became violent with other individuals. It was with the bankers in the temple. Because this is really, really significant. That the original bankers were actually the royal priests and the kings, and the banks were the first banks were their temples. The global financial institution is the largest organized crime syndicate in the world. Very few people actually have any clue or idea where money really comes from. So the origins of money, when and how did it get so bad? What was the first money created? How did it come into existence and creation? The critical information about the origins of money comes to us from the Sumerian text, the Sumerian tablets, that give us a lot of information about the earliest kings, the first kings of the world, and a lot of other information. That there was a time in history, these gods that were causing havoc on planet Earth, and especially in the land of Sumer and interacting with the Sumerian people. There was a time that the royal bloodlines suddenly emerged on Earth. And that these priest kings, these first priest kings were actually appointed. The first priest kings were appointed by the gods, and we suddenly see the appearance of the royal political bloodlines. And then suddenly they had all this money and they owned all the land. So this is the origins of the royal bloodlines. And these are the guys that have passed down the royal bloodline control for thousands of years. And the banking families are part of this ancient royal bloodline. Only the royalty knew how to write. They had scribes. Only written material ever came out of the royal palaces and the temples with the scribes. The average people didn't know how to do that, so they couldn't even read. Money was maliciously introduced as a tool of enslavement. This seems to be the moment that this happened. In these ancient times, when the first royal bloodlines were introduced, when these first priest kings suddenly appear. Because most of us are under the misconception that money is a consequence of thousands of years of barter and trade. Money was maliciously introduced as a tool of enslavement. That is its only pure intent, is to enslave people. Instead of having chains and whips, you have a thing called money. The first kings owned all the land. They were the first bankers, and the temples were the first banks. Somehow imbued with some sort of black magic that has turned people into mumbling idiots. Look what money does to people. It makes some people go crazy. It makes people commit murder. It makes people kill their families, kill their friends, kill their partners. It makes people commit horrendous crimes because of this thing called money. It's tainted with blood, and this is what we need to get away from.